For
You
that
go.
specifically,
You
I
go.
wanted to say, are the producers making them ask questions? Because her questions just be very much a bibbity bobbity boo. Like they just
Not a bibbity bobbity.
I feel like it's like that's how I feel like they come. I just feel like they're just so I don't know, misplaced.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's the older sister, Nikki.
I'm the younger sister, Jackie.
And this is our channel, Relax, Relate, Debrief. And we're about to get into, one of our favorite shows, Married at First Sight. But this is just a fun channel where we are two real life sisters that have a typical sister conversation where we discuss life events, real life events, things that are going on. And then in our current series that we're doing right now, we are reviewing Married at First Sight, season 16. Woo-woo.
Woo-woo.
Now, Married at First Sight is in Nashville, Tennessee, and I would like to take a moment out to acknowledge what has happened in this past week with the school shooting, the people that lost their lives, and just want you to know that we're praying for you and that our thoughts are with you and your family. It's such a tragic thing, and it's very sad, and to keep hearing of young children that just want to go to school and learn and be with their friends, not coming home. I can't imagine. Neither one of us are parents, so we don't have any children in school. I can't imagine for those of you that do. For those of you that happen to run across this page, just want you to know that we're praying for you guys and your children.
100%.
With that being said, we're going to get into our review of this week's episode, Married at First Sight, episode 12, maybe 13. No, 13. You're right. Episode 13. And so in this episode, we just, are seeing the couples still going through the process of trying to figure out whether they want to be together or not, what things they like about each other, and just introducing some things about each other more that they're learning. I want to get into Jasmine and Eris.
Okay.
I'm gonna jump in the fire and get into Jasmine and Eris. I feel like Eris is trying. He is trying to. I think he saw the error of his ways and that he is trying, and his feelings is getting hurt. His feelings is getting hurt because Jasmine is giving. I'm not about to open up. I'm not about to open up myself to you. And in the beginning, she talks to her friend, and she's basically letting her friend know, like, listen, when I came into this process, I was very excited. I thought he was cute and attractive. That's what attracted me to him. So I was like very interested in getting to know him even more. And I felt that as time went on and my little parade got dampened on because we, of course, we've been watching. He's been dampering on her parade by saying that he doesn't want her. She basically now is on that other side of saying, guess what? I just have no more energy and no more time for this. Like, I'm trying, but it's just now I'm nervous and do not want to open up my heart because I'm in fear of getting hurt, which is a real feeling. It's a real feeling. And we see Daryl Eris there. He's trying to dig into his feelings bag. They had to write letters to each other.
To their younger self.
To their younger self. I'm sorry, right. They had to write letters to their younger self. She still wasn't giving no energy. Like he gave this his letter, he was writing to himself and then just like, encouraging himself as far as, being younger and having experienced things of the loss of his dad and moving from city to city or whatnot. And when she read her letter, it was, she talked about being bullied at a young age. And so just trying to encourage herself to say, listen, you're going to be out okay. But there still wasn't like that. I think when the experts give that, they try to make them like kind of go like deep and like reach back and say something so that it can spark conversation. And it was just like, yeah, I don't have energy for all that. So it's a no. So What's your thoughts?
Ain't that just how it go? As soon as you back up and you don't want them here, they come around trying to act like, my God, today. Well, let me say this about Eris. Number one, Eris mentioned on here that when he was talking to that he had been talking to his therapist, and his therapist was trying to get to the root of why he always feels the need like he has to go, he has to run. He hasn't really had anything stable that has ever kept him in place. Mm-hmm. I want to say this because I know that I have been tough on Eris, and as I was watching, this is what I do want to be clear on that I'm not sure if I've been clear on. Right. I believe Eris's story, I don't want to say it like that. I believe his experiences are real. Right. I believe that those things happened. They have cultivated him or they have shaped him to how he sees certain things, how he handles certain things. Eris has been through some stuff. He's 39. He's lost a lot of people around him. He's had to move a lot. He's been raised by his mom. He never quite, got his footing into, stability and feeling secure and feeling this and that. And I don't mean like secure. I just mean like in life. He's always had to be on the go, moving. So he's always ready to get out. He mentioned that people that be in relationships that they know they don't belong in, he doesn't understand why they stay in it, because for him, it's easy for him to just exit. One, I want to commend Eris on either at one point going to therapy or even if he is currently in therapy. Right. I think, because I don't know if he's mentioned that before, but that was the first time that I heard it, and I was like, oh. Mm-hmm. But with all of the knowledge and the deep looking in that he's getting, what I want to know from Eris is that I understand how he is. I understand how certain things in life has shaped him to feel the way that he has to feel. So I have a question for Eris, and what I want to know is, out of all of the learning that he's done, of him trying not to repeat his past mistakes, how does he see his future with all of that now in play?
Good question.
And I'm talking about specifically with Jasmine, having to deal with what you've dealt with, going and getting, the licensed therapy and help and all of that on it. Now you have the tools to be able to handle and do things differently. And so my question is, I'm not looking for you to say, absolutely, me and Jasmine are going to be together forever. I understand that you're still dating in your marriage, which, goes on forever, but, this is very new. But my question to Eris is, with all of the knowledge that he's bringing and all of the vulnerability that he is providing to Jasmine, I will give him that. He has been giving her vulnerability. Yes. I want to know, what is his plan with all of the tools and the knowledge that he's been given moving forward? And I also want Eris to understand that I understand that Jasmine has shut down. Right. Because there is only so much that we can take before she even said it. So sometimes she feels like they're going in the right direction, and then other times she feels like, okay, well, you feel like you can get out at any moment. And I didn't see the whole after show. I just saw a little bit of the after show. And Keisha Napoleon mentioned, or Nicole was on there. Okay. Nicole mentioned,
as usual.
Nicole mentioned that she thinks that what Jasmine heard versus what he was saying versus what Eris was saying was not the same. So he was saying, like, this is what he's accustomed to, this is what he's used to. And it seemed like Jasmine heard, okay, well, he wants to get out. Okay, two things can be true. What he was saying and what was heard can be true, because what Jasmine is correlating her feelings to is what Eris had said and shown to her. Right. That's what she's correlating her feelings to. So if it's not what he said, Eris in this position, if he is truly trying to pivot this and actually put his all in all into it, he now has to kind of undo the wrong, and he has to say things that make her feel secure about a future together. And while he's vulnerable, he's emotional, he's vulnerable, he's providing all of that, he's still not giving her the security in who she is as his wife. And I think that because of the things that he has said before, and because of the things that, have transpired, I'm talking about all the way back to the honeymoon. Right. all the way back to then. I think because of, there's been a couple of weeks of that, it's now at a point where opening up emotionally and vulnerable is going to also require you to undo some of the damage that you have done where it comes to how you felt about your wife.
Right.
And I mean, like, saying it and showing it.
Yeah. It's
That's how I feel about Jasmine and Aris. And they met up with Shaquille and Kirsten.
We'll talk about them later.
I know. And they had like a fun, like, it wasn't paintballing. It was like a fun, like, I don't know, tag.
Nerf guns.
Nerf guns.
Yeah.
Which was nice. And I'm gonna tell you, I would give Shaquille, and I even said this, they're trying to edit it like he was flirting with Jasmine. He was not.
Yes, we got confirmation. I don't know if
and
I
they
said
even said that on the after show. They were like, viewers were saying that this was flirting. You're right about the after show. And somebody commented on our video before, and I agree with you, to the person that commented, thank you. But they said that a lot of times the after show tries to alter the truth. Something to think about. And you had mentioned that before, like, how are y'all getting comments when you've already recorded this? So they was like, people were saying like it seemed like Shaquille was flirting. I was like, well, we just saw this,
what
and
people?
he wasn't flirting. So I'm like, people have said that based off of what? Based off of a preview that they were shown? Because when you watch it, Shaquille was not flirting and what he was doing. And thank you, Shaquille. I appreciated his conversation with Jasmine. And I don't know how much he knows. I don't know what their entire conversation consisted of. But by the end, Shaquille, a Black brother, was lifting up Jasmine to let her know that as a Black woman, that she is beautiful on the inside and out. And she has to know what she wants, and what she wants, she is deserving of, and she will have. So Shaquille was actually having a very nice conversation with Jasmine in regards to her. And I believe that he was lifting her up. And I can appreciate that, because the reality of it is that even though Aris is trying, he's done a lot of, not maliciously, but he has done some tearing her down.
Yep. And that's the important thing to remember here. Like in any type of relationship that you're in, if someone's constantly tearing you down and then they take a pivot and they turn and they try to, like, it takes a lot of work even on your part, the person that has been torn down. You've got to rebuild trust. You've got to look and evaluate. That's why I believe Shaquille was trying to encourage her to say, find out what it is that you truly want. And I mean, honestly, if you find in the end that this is not what you want, you don't want to go through the experiment anymore, that's okay too, because you actually have a right. We all have a right. I thought something was very that Aris brought out that was very important, was that our young Black boys are not told to have feelings, or not taught how to express their feelings. And so when they become adults, and I have this conversation with one of my friends all the time, when we talk about guys that don't have, young guys, when they're younger, especially Black boys, or young Black boys, that you're taught, like, if you fall, get up. Like, in that moment that hurt, you can cry. It's okay to cry, but it's like, no, toughen up. And it's always like, be so tough, so tough, so tough. And then when they become adults and they're just like not emotionless, they don't really get in a bunch of stuff, they don't really talk about stuff. And then it's us, the women, who have been taught, that it's okay to cry about stuff. It's okay to be sensitive. And then when we want to have like dialogue and conversation, that's where we get friction, because it's like, I wasn't taught, I'm not used to that. And so, shout out to the men who have done the work for themselves and realized, like, hey, I'm tapped into their emotions. And but I thought that was a really good point that Aris had brought out. That's probably part of the reason too why he's able to just get up and run, right? I don't have to be attached. I'm not been taught to be attached to anything, and that if something's not right, like, hey, I'm just going to jump out. Like, why stay in this relationship? It doesn't serve me any purpose. Why? And which case is good and it's bad sometimes, because sometimes you can prematurely leave something. But I do think that Jasmine now just needs to take the time to say whether or not she wants to, remain in this experiment. But for me, it's a both of a decline. They're not going to make it.
Yes. I just think that Aris, I believe the experiences are real. I would like to know how that looks moving forward, and if you're willing to do things differently for someone else.
Right.
Declined.
Before we move on, I want to say that, in Nehemiah said we built the wall, and I want you guys to see the wall I built.
No. Nope. We're not available for that. Get somebody else to do it. That was not the wall that Nehemiah was talking about. And the people had a mind to work. And if you think thumbtacking that paper up there was the work.
Oh no, it's not no thumbtacks up here. Don't try to play. It's sweat and tears that got this wall up. And I just want to say,
you acting like you put that up brick by brick and then painted it twice.
I'm just gonna humble myself because I know what I did.
Humble you. The line about that wall.
We're moving into the next couple. Our next couple.
Is it any couple that's lying? Because that's what you
Well, as a matter of fact, it is Nicole and Chris.
Matter of fact, it is. Lying?
Well, I'm just saying, when I was taking my notes and she was talking, so she talked about, of course, her younger self and, how she always had the need for attention, and which came from her parents because they always gave her the attention. And that so anybody, whether it's her parents or anybody that she's a relationship with, she always wants the attention because she was born to have the attention. And when her parents kind of sort of weren't paying attention to her in kind of her teenage years, she said she had a lying problem, and she was always going to confession saying, I lied again. So when you asked me the question, hey, she said it, not me. So she talked about her lying spirit.
When she was a teenager.
When she was a teenager, yes. For clarity, when she was a teenager. And it kind of got her in a lot of trouble because she was kind of found herself in a lot of things, trying to get approval from people constantly, wanting people to like you, going to high school. We've all been there. You want to be a part of the cool crowd, want the gangs to like you. And she just found herself in some situations that, had, maybe her parents asked a little bit more questions or been a little bit more indulged and really finding out what was going on with her, they could have helped her through that period of time. And so, we just hear about that part of her life and how that kind of helped shapes her and how she had to come to the recognition that you can't go through life lying.
The realization.
Yeah, the realization. What did I say?
The recognition. What we're not going to do is start getting people to come. We know grammar. Go ahead. It's okay.
Right.
Recognition.
The realization of, that you can't go around lying all the time.
That you're tired from that wall.
That's what I was going to say. And I'm just going to go ahead and say, I didn't build this. Y'all knew that. So anyway, and then they both wrote letters to their younger selves as well. And Chris talked about not having a good relationship. Well, did he say that in his letter?
Yes. No,
he was just saying in general, in conversation, he talked about not having he didn't like working with his dad. So he didn't feel like his dad was very loving when he was working with them. And it's probably because, the dad had on the working hat and, he wanted a father and son moment, and the dad wasn't trying to give him that. But he talked about how this experience prior to, like, his dad offered to watch his dog one time, and that kind of like opened the door for them to have a better relationship. And and then when they came on to when he came to do the experiment and meeting Nicole, and she was very like, do you mind if I call you mom and dad? Like, I'll call you mom and dad, like initially meeting them, and like they were very open to it. And he said, like, even in the process, his dad has been very supportive of him, and so he got to see another side of his dad. So the thing I like about this was that we got to see we got to hear more from Chris, more of his background, more of how he grew up, and more of what shaped him, and the fact that he didn't have the relationship he thought he initially or wanted to have with his father, but how he was able to navigate that, and how he is still yet building that relationship with his father. I mean, Chris and Nicole kind of, I hate to say, but give the same thing every week. She also said to him, now that, so I understand like why she's always like telling people what to do, or kind of like she wants the attention. So now they're in the house and she's like, yeah, so what did you think about after everything that I told you?
Oh, for that
go.
specifically,
You can
I
go.
wanted to say, are the producers making them ask questions? Because her questions just be very much a bibbity bobbity boo. Like they just
Not a bibbity bobbity.
I feel like it's like that's how I feel like they come. I just feel like they're just so I don't know, misplaced.
I don't know. You can go ahead with your review of them. That's all.
But I was just okay. Well, that was one piece. I was gonna say, I feel like, are they being like forced to recount, like, hey, you guys are gonna hang out tonight and make sure you ask him about, like, I don't know, or start up a conversation about, because that's how it feels. It feels like they could be having the best time, and then she's like, so
dun, 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 dun.
we need to discuss, what are you gonna tell me on decision day? It's like, no, we don't. That's not what we're doing. We're literally in the moment right now, getting to know each other and being with each other and all of this stuff. And she'd be like, and like, so I feel like it like literally ruins it. But I want to say that where it comes to Chris, he took her to a paint shop, and then that's where he opened up about his dad owning a painting business.
Right.
And the stuff that he was going through with his dad, and just not always feeling like his dad was the best verbally to them. He just said that his dad didn't necessarily talk to them the best, and you could feel like you were doing your all and the dad was still giving them a hard time for what they were doing as far as the work was concerned. So from that and how he felt from that, he developed a certain type of resentment towards his dad. But I think that is where Chris picked up. First of all, Chris explaining all of this about his dad, the way that his dad showed up back on wedding day to know that this was what's going on, I was like,
interesting.
Didn't get that. Did not get that at all. So I was surprised. And he was like, yeah, he was nice to you on wedding day. I was like, Chris didn't get that. He was very much like, oh, I would love if you called me dad. So I'm thinking, first of all, I thought his parents were still together.
They're not?
No.
Oh.
Ooh, correct me if I'm wrong, y'all, but
I don't know.
Sure.
Maybe they're not. Maybe they're not. I don't.
Because she said to him, like, you would have thought that your parents were still together, the way that y'all are so loving and just like come together.
Yeah, right.
I was like, they're not? I didn't know they weren't together. I didn't know. I was like, if Facade was a person, no, and maybe they just know how to, be cohesive even in the midst of not being together, whatever. So I was surprised to hear that too. But I felt like when Chris was explaining the story and how his dad made him felt, I feel like Chris goes out of his way not to make people feel the way that he felt.
Right.
And I think that that's where people kind of loop him into being a pushover or a people pleaser or blah, 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 whatever. And maybe he has kind of walked into that, but I feel like that's where he gets it from. I feel like he really tries to be cautious and conscious of how he's making people feel, because he knows what it was like coming up and how his dad actually made him feel, even when he was really doing his hardest and really trying to do the most for him. And Chris and this dog, the way he told that story, he's like, because Coda is my baby. She's first and foremost. We got it. Chris. We got it. About the dog.
Other pet lovers understand where he's coming from.
Sure.
Neither one of us have pets, so.
I love pets though, but I actually love pets. So pet lovers I believe we're all on different levels. I believe there's levels to pet loving, because I love people's dogs. I love people, cats I'm allergic to, but I want to see people's fish living. Do you need me to feed your fish? I'm here for the animals.
I want to see fish living.
I mean, I've seen stuff. People are going too far having iguanas and the big snakes and stuff. Now that I'm not a lover of.
Right.
But if you have a pet, I'm here to help you with the pet. I want to take care of the pet. I find that they're sweet. I'm actually not. I talk to people about their animals, even here in my building. I'm like, oh, what's your dog's name? Whatever. But we got it. Whatever. And that's besides the point. But he was really like, that was my baby. And, that was the first thing. But because of how he feels about Cody, whatever the dog's name is, when his dad stepped in to help him, because once again, Coda had to go somewhere. He probably had another conniption like he did the first time. And his dad stepped to help him. I was happy to hear that like, you know, started like the repair in their relationship, and hopefully like, I hope that he's been able to express to his dad maybe some of the things that his dad didn't realize had such an impact on him. I hope that he was able to express that. But I feel like from that, I learned, I could be wrong, I don't know Chris personally, but I feel like I learned that maybe that's where that comes from, where he's always trying to just be conscious of how people feel, what he's saying, what he's doing. I think that he tries to steer away from that confrontational based off of what he went through with his dad.
Yeah, and that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. So I felt like that was like, oh, okay, that was like a little bit of a learning thing with him. I still think that he's great. I still don't find him to be like a pushover or anything like that. Like he keeps kind of getting the name for. I don't really see all of that. And you know, Nicole kind of told the story that her dad told, so we already knew that. Like we knew that you was like, you know, wild and doing your thing.
Right.
Her dad said that last week. So I was just like, okay. I did think that it was this my last point on them. I do think that they are going to make it, but I did think that it was cute when they were doing the painting and she wanted to be like real corny and put on a mustache and talk in a French accent. That's her and that's her personality. And I did think that it was cute that he entertained it with her. He made her feel comfortable, because she even mentioned like, that's just me. That's just like something. And we all have like little like quirks and stupid things that we like to do. And so it's really nice when your partner doesn't be like, what are you doing? Stop it. Kind of like, and kind of like understands, like, you know what I mean? Like it's like having like a dork for a husband, like, you know what I mean? He may come to you and have like, I don't know, Pokemon cards, and you have to be like, oh, okay, because that's something that he's into, and not make them feel like, you know, not make them feel away for something that they like or who they are. And so that goofy side of her and wanting to do like a fake accent while they were painting, it was just all in fun for her, and Chris just went right along with it, and I thought that was cute, and I felt like there was a good point for her to feel like safe with him there.
Right. And the only thing I'll say, my last point about them is I just want her to get out of her head, like stop focusing on the negative. Like I know we could be something and have something, but I know like, you know, if we don't be together, like don't worry about that. You know what I mean? Be in the moment. And like I understand, nobody wants to be hurt. Nobody wants to build a life with somebody only for it not to last. And we see people all over the place nowadays that, you know, have gotten married, been together for years, and all of a sudden divorced. And which is unfortunate. But you know, if you keep focusing on that, you will never fully, like, although she says like, no, I do enjoy the happy moments, or you know, the majority of our time is happy, there still is that in my subconscious. Get that out your subconscious, you know, because that, to me, I feel like that will just eat away at you. And then you'll always be asking him, is everything okay? And, you know, you'll always be scared. And like I said, fear that he'll walk away. Like you don't want to, I don't think that it's healthy to be in a relationship where you have that,
So do you think that see, I think that is coming from her past.
No, I do. I think I absolutely 100%. That's what I'm saying. Like, I want that to be one thing that she works on. Like, she recognizes, like, you know, I have this, but for me, if it was for me, I wouldn't want to keep having that. I don't want to go into a relationship with all of the baggage and all of the things from my previous relationship, saying that I've done the work only for it to show up again. Like, no, I want to be happy in this relationship. And, you know, Chris seems to be a great partner for her, and that they have something that they can build here. And it's important that, you know, because there's already going to be obstacles that they're going to have to overcome as a couple anyway. The thoughts that you're having about the downfall of it, you know, will just only add to, and not, to me, I don't think it will, you know, help in the long run. But that's my opinion. No, that's how I feel.
I agree. I think that continue to do the work on that, so that you're not bringing so much of your past into your present. And that you don't let your past come in so much that you ruin something in the present. So Chris and Nicole are an accept.
Yes, they are 100% accept.
Both of them just gotta come through a couple of things and
figure it out. You know, figure it out. It can be done. On to our next couple. I'm gonna go with Gina and Clint.
Oh,
And I don't have too much to say about them. Just friends.
just kid. They just kicking it.
Just kicking.
Party all night with the. Whose song is that? Escape or SWV?
It's Escape.
Oh.
The fact that you sat up here and don't know now words and nothing.
I love that song.
Either way, Clint and Gina is just going through the process as friends. They, that's nice. I don't think either one of them came on the show to be a friend to gain another friend. Clint seems to be a very personable person. So he doesn't seem like he has any problem gathering or being amongst friends. She's very popular amongst her
salon owners.
I thought they was employees.
Well, I'm saying like she may be around like other salon owners.
But the ladies that she had invited over to the house were her employees. And it's just like, I get it. I get when you accomplish something, and we hear that in this episode how she mentioned that she was in one I forget what she used to do, but she was in a different career.
Teacher? No.
She had went to college. I forget what
They were in a classroom.
Well, that was her hair school. She just went back to the hair school.
Oh.
Yeah, I need you to focus. No,
so Clint, okay.
I forget what she used to be in a whole nother different profession. And
it's not teacher.
Got a degree for it, and then decided that it's not what she wanted to do. It was always in the back of her head. She always wanted to do hair, and so she pivoted from it. From that, and it's always commendable when you can be in a career and then kind of shift gears, and it's a commendable thing because not everybody's willing to take that jump. Some people have stayed stuck in jobs for 40, 50, 60 years and things that they didn't want to do because they didn't jump out of what they got in. We, the millennial era and the generation XZ on them, don't nobody stay in no job long like that, that when it's not satisfying in them. One thing I will say,
know about that. Right?
Yes, ma'am. I was suspecting that, but I can relate. Yes, I can. While we're putting it out there, I can relate. I myself, from the time that I started working,
has always made sure if this ain't it,
if it ain't serving a purpose, if somebody's not doing, if it ain't, I had no problem giving in my 2 weeks. Always did it in order though. I did give the 2 weeks, but nowadays I'm kind of like with other people. If y'all firing in a day's notice, what y'all need 2 weeks for? But I just know I won't do that now. I'm gonna do that. So, and I like my job. So, so Clint kind of had a similar thing with him as well, where he said that he was switched from pilot to tech, and so they both have the same experience of going, switching careers, and like, okay, it's another thing we have in common. But still, like, I don't get a lot of depth from their conversations. I felt like Clint tried when he talked about playing soccer, but even I wasn't interested. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, if he was sitting there talking about it, I just was like, It's like, so you learned a lesson.
Well, the gist of what he was trying to say was because his feet are so big, it wasn't as easy for him to kick the soccer ball as it was for the other kids. To play another sport, Clint. Go ahead.
No, but I understood that, and like, I mean, it was like
he was determined to get it.
It was a determination that he has, that he was just trying to say that just because he gets presented obstacles, he doesn't necessarily let those obstacles stop him or deter them. And rather than giving up and saying, this is like kind of not my thing, he worked at it until he perfected it, and which Gina did give him props for, and saying like, you learned a lesson out, what we say, you made lemonade out of lemons. I don't know. That's all I got.
The idea of them being at the soccer field and talking about his soccer experience as a child, and the idea that all of these couples were supposed to be doing. So even when Chris took Nicole to the paint shop and she took him to the deli, they were supposed to be going back to things from their past and kind of
Right.
letting their partner in on things about their
That
past.
part.
And Clint took Gina to the soccer field, and I guess he was letting her in on that story that we just talked about of him overcoming his big feet obstacle to kick a soccer ball. To him, I think that's something that probably does, something that still stays with him enough for him to decide that this is what he wanted to talk about. But their energy together is very much like, let me go show my friend something.
Right.
They have completely decided to be friends, and they are roommates. And even when she invites her friends over, and like that was the one thing with this season with people that were kind of like everyone was talking to like people in their families, whatever. It was just like, I was tired of hearing people hype that person up. Like, all right, we got it. It's like if you were on the show and they're like, this is your episode, I'm supposed to come in and be like, and one day my sister do, and Lord, my sister, you gotta know she that. I was just like, okay. All right, y'all, we got it. Like, that's nice. Don't say nothing bad, but the realness in me was Nicole's father last week.
He gave all the real tea.
This girl was a mess. You understand? She talked back. She had a lot of mouth. Okay, now there we go. I'm
moistening my lips.
But right now?
Yeah.
Mine were like really dry, but before we took a break. But I just think that they have truly settled into a friendship. It was nice of her coworkers to come over and lift her up as a boss. That's nice. And she thinks she's not organized, but she really is organized. And, she does a great job with multitasking. She's able to do all these things. It's just Gina. It's just a wonderful salon owner.
And Clint was like,
You know what? We were wondering that from the beginning, if she was a salon owner, because that's the only thing that she's been freaking saying. They have just totally settled into a friend zone, and Gina is, still very focused on her salon and doing whatever. I also think that the premise of where they're coming from also has to do with attraction, because I don't think Gina would be, it has not, and we are not going to say that it has anything to do with what Clint said about slender. What did he say? Athletic?
Yeah, athletic, I think he said.
No. She didn't like him she wasn't attracted to him from the jump. I feel like Gina, the way I feel about Eris, I feel like she would be doing this experiment different, regardless of her past and all these things. I feel like she would be doing it different if it was somebody that she was truly attracted to. And I just don't think that she's attracted to Clint. And when Clint made his comment, she was like, well, baby, you can hang it up. And so she was able to get over that, by being mature, because, she's a 30-something-year-old adult, so she's just being mature. And they're able to me, I think that they were able to have a great friendship beyond this. So if anything, one thing Married at First Sight can do is they can bring out great marriages and great friendships.
Well, she said that she see, them having a marriage, but I don't know why she said that.
Even when she said it, she was 6 feet apart from him. They were walking. They weren't even like, how like if you're in like a field or something, like you could like be holding hands and swinging hands with the person, and just something for a little bit of a oomph to the like, okay, they could be together.
And I never reached past that.
It's so they just there's no glimpses, there's no hope.
Not at all. Not at all.
I think that they have just settled into a friendship with each other. I think Clint has settled into a friendship with her. Yeah. I think that he has developed the largest bond with Hank, the dog. Mm-hmm. And I think that she has settled into a friendship with Clint. But as far as going beyond that, it's to me, it's not going to happen.
Decline.
Decline.
From the beginning, decline.
It's not going to happen. And I think they even they mentioned it next week with who was that? Coming from next week.
Who that is? New expert. Expert.
Like, where did she come from? So Devon Franklin really only had 2 episodes.
I ain't gonna get into all that. So anyway, yeah. So you said
when he advertised it, I felt like, oh, he's gonna be a new addition to the show. Devon, you had 34 seconds on last season. He didn't have I'm thinking he's a new addition to the show, and we haven't seen him since.
No, maybe it was a trial and it just didn't try out. But yeah, you know how like they bring people on a trial because they actually had 2 new people, and I don't even think that other lady didn't even come. Hasn't shown either, so it might not have worked out. On to the next one.
The one that was I know you're talking about.
Yeah.
I
forget my name is, but
so now they got this one coming out, and Clint said, I think that we both have there's no type of attraction on either one of our parts. Oh.
And she's like, oh, well, you know, have you wanted to, you know, had the desire? Yeah, just not with her.
Outside of the marriage. Yeah, they were like, yeah, outside of the marriage. So I was just like, okay. As an expert, you hear what they're saying. At this point, we're several weeks in. We're actually coming to the conclusion. Yeah. Let's go ahead and let them dissolve the marriage. It's giving me Dominique vibes.
Yeah. They had 3. You know, they only have 3 more weeks left. You don't have to wait until decision day. We already know what it is.
Oh, they only have 3 more weeks left?
Yeah, that's what they said. They have 3 more weeks left. So they're down to, you know, they'll be down to decision day, which we know your decision will be a no.
Yeah, they can go ahead and dissolve.
They can
bloop, 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 bloop.
So we're going to get into our final couple, and they say, save the best for last.
God's only saving the best. Sometimes I know what you be saying, but do you not hear it?
And sometimes I know what you be saying. Do you not hear it? Because, baby.
Like, sometimes I feel like I hit notes so well and so unexpectedly.
You know, honestly, can we get somebody who's a true singer that watches this to let us know? Neither one of us have the voice of a true singer like that.
But what I'm saying is that there's also absolutely no encouragement from your end. Even if you were to hear it. Like, if you hear, like, when I do I'm not saying the whole song, but like what I just did there sounded amazing. And look at you. This Clinton Gina energy, uninterested.
Well, I would like to say I am my father's child, so
ignorant. Yeah.
And one thing my father told me,
Daddy, he says, I'm the singer.
And he needs to stop lying as well. No, you're not.
He goes, you're a little high there.
You don't even know. Like, he acts like he's so musical, and you're not. So
and then you sing one song to him from 2022, and you're like, oh, hey. I'm a musician.
I can't. I encourage you in areas where I know where your strengths are. But what I'm not about to do is sit here and encourage you where I know you is not your strength. As an older sister, it's my responsibility to help you so that you don't go into the world thinking that you're something that you're not. I don't want you to do that.
I'm already, hold up.
No. I'm not saying that you're not. I said I encourage you where in your strengths.
So
but in those little pockets of
when
things, you think you have a strength, it's not there.
Okay, when you just heard that little bit of, and I
didn't hear anything.
You didn't hear anything. You didn't hear the angelic. God only saving our bad. Like, you don't hear that. Okay, next, go ahead. Here's the issue.
What was it doing?
Because what you're doing now is deliberate and it's hurtful.
Would never hurt you, and not deliberately. So
go ahead, Kirsten and
Shaquille. Mm-hmm. We talked about earlier. First it opens up. She's a real estate agent. He goes to see a house that she's listing. Beautiful house. Mm-hmm. 2.7 million. So
2.9.
Oh, 2.9. But I mean, y'all, it was beautiful. I was like, do I need to move to Nashville?
Nashville got some nice houses.
They do. It had a lot of land around it and everything. Because you know, here in Jersey, we don't got that. And they want 1.9. No, nobody giving you that for that little bit of space. And I see my neighbor and I sneeze and they say, God bless you. I'm not paying you for that. So, you know what I'm saying? But
I'm more like city area. You ain't even getting what you can get in Jersey.
Yeah, nah, you ain't even getting that either, right? So, but at least in Virginia, if you went to the outskirts, you could find nice land. And
I'm by DC. It's city.
Yeah, you're by DC, but I said if you went more into Virginia, into the outskirts,
you would have to go south, like you're going southwest.
Okay. Either way, it was a nice home. we're gonna stop. We're gonna stop here. It was a nice home, and
Yes.
you know, they were walking through it and they were talking about kids, and I could see this and I could see that, talking about a future, and which is something you discuss with your spouse, whatever. And then she proceeds to tell him, "You need to buy me a house. Like, I'm standing in the house that you need to buy." And Chuck's like, "I need to buy you a house. Yeah, I need you to buy. You need to buy the house. You need to buy the house." He's like, "So it's not we. I'll be on the deed. So it's all on me to buy this house."
As someone in mortgages, that's what she's saying. The loan, the 1003, is in Shaquille's name.
Correct. Right. And I understand exactly what she said. And I was just like, So I disagree with that expectation in this, right? You know where he is in life and what he actually does. And I hope by now you would have discussed finances. To bring him to a $2.9 million house, to tell this man that you need to have a house when this is over, and this is kind of what I'm looking at, and you need to buy it on your own, is unfair.
Well, because Shaq said, well, we could eventually get to buying a house. And you know,
Yes.
he's like, I'm not, as soon as this is over, we're not going to be able to, you know, jump up and do that. And she was like, well, no, but like maybe like when your lease is up. He was like, that's only like 2-3 more months.
3 months. She was like, right. And then
right.
like being serious with it. And it's like,
okay, so say that again. She was being serious.
She was being serious with that.
Because by the end, go ahead.
She was being serious with that. And as they, you know, proceed, so he was all looking like discombobulated, like, I know you like, I'm about to buy you a house. And his thing was, who's to say we're not going to have kids right away? Like, you know, he's in the building phase still. So he has to save the money. If he hasn't saved all the money, he has to save some money, you know, for the house, you know.
Fair.
Us being in the process together, us figuring out what is going to be feasible for us. You know, these are conversations we have, not demands that we give. I said something there. And so she was giving out demands.
See how I encouraged you when you had something?
You did, but see, I'll do the same for you. I will do the same for you. But she giving out demands and unrealistic demands. So we see that they go out with because there you go. So then we see, because you determined. One thing I can say about you is I give you that you determined.
Go ahead with your thought, because you're not going to.
I lost it because God's only saving. That's all I can hear.
Oh, that's for life. So
anyway,
looking for the encouragement.
Right, usual. Determination is your encouragement. That's your word for today. Determination.
One thing I can say about you determined.
But they go out and they meet up with Jasmine and Eris, which we talked about earlier, and how he talked to Jasmine, and Kirsten was talking to Jasmine said to Shaquille, he mentioned that she has these expectations because she gets them from her father. She's essentially looking at her father and wants me to be like her father. I know nothing about the man. I've never met the man. And so I feel like they're unreal expectations at this point in time. And then she's like, you know, does it bother you that you haven't met him? And he's like, no, but I just mean. And she said, no, does it bother you? I said, right. Because what we're getting, he was like, well, it do, because we know it's bothering you.
He said, I'm not going to lie. You just did, but okay.
I'm not going, right. You know, another person. I get it. But it bothered you. It's bothering you because she has these expectations of what she knows her father to be and how he provided for her family and took care of her mother, even though they wind up not being together. He still is a big factor in her life and what she is using to measure him against. And he feels defenseless, like, I don't even know this man. I don't, like, you know, so it's not fair. So they go and they have a meet with his godmother and god sister, that, you know, because he's like, I'm about family, I'm a family person, and I want her because I guess he wants her to kind of like be okay with me meeting your family. Like, let me meet your dad, let me meet your family so that you can see how much. So what I like that he did was like, let me show you how I interact with my family. So you can see that I truly am a family person and I'm family oriented. And he meets up, they meet up with his godmother who talks about him and how he's the organizer of the family. He puts stuff together. And which I can see, I can see him gathering folks together and telling you what you're going to do and have an itinerary, which also I think is a good trait because I can see how he can organize their life and help and create a place for both of them to be comfortable in. But they have to get to that point. Yes, both of them to be comfortable and to grow. But they have to get to that point. We just got y'all out of the forehead kissing stage. And so you went from forehead kissing to buy me a house.
Which begs the question that I saw where somebody said about Kirsten. Is she just playing the hard to get game? Did you say?
No, I was trying to think about it. She could be. She could be.
Like a little bit of that. A little bit of that kind of felt like she was kind of maybe playing hard to get. And it was like, I don't know that you needed to, and I understand, like, not
like all of a sudden you coming around, and it's like, oh well,
because I understand, like, not wanting to, you're not trying to be all like, oh, I'm available to you. You're not trying to be all, it's still married at first sight. You still just met, so there's still like a reservation that's there.
Right.
I understand that, but for her to be now like. And now, as you can see, I am feeling you. Buy me a house, buy me a car. When literally, like, just 2 weeks ago, you was acting like you didn't even, okay. What is this? What is this?
Right.
But I thought it was interesting. First of all, this is something that I wrote down in my notes. For some reason, I had no idea that Shaq was 31. He gave me big 38 energy. Like, I thought he was later in his 30s. I was like, he's only 31? And Kirsten's only 32? I don't know what I was thinking.
Yeah, I'm like, I feel like that, yeah.
I don't know what I was thinking. I did not think that he was only 31. I think that Kirsten is unfair. The funniest thing to me was when he wanted to talk about that particular situation and she was eating that salad and he told her to chew her food. Baby, I liked
reminded me of you.
Wait, I liked him even more when he did that because her chewing and talking was irritating the mess out of me. I was like, stop all that chewing.
and then I feel like I'm hard.
We could get a house.
Look, I'm hungry. When I be hungry, like I don't have time to have this conversation. I'm eating.
Wait, and then Shaq was like, Dad, you must like that salad. You probably licking it off. Something I would say. Like, what? She was like, oh yeah, I always love this salad. But I was like, okay, well, Kristen, if you're hungry, say, hey, can we take 10 before we film? Because, and I just felt like, Shaq kind of called her out on her request because she was like, I know plenty of people that are married where their husband is buying them houses, their husband is buying them cars, like, and he was like, I can go buy you a Honda. And she was like, if you want to upgrade my Mercedes to a Lamborghini. And I'm like, okay, Kirsten, like this is you, coming out. But if these are your expectations, and she was not be clear, especially when she was talking about the house and she was saying, you need to buy me a house. Because like I said, they were going back to their childhood. They went back to Kirsten's childhood home. And she stood there talking about all that her dad did. And my dad just knew what to do. I didn't have to tell him. I shouldn't have to tell you. He just knew what to do, blah, 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 whatever. Here's the thing. Then marry your dad. Which you have not done. There is a precedence that a daughter has with a father that sets the tone for her to know how she should be treated. However, what you have to understand is that it doesn't mean it has to look identical.
Exactly.
And the reason why it doesn't have to look identical is because the truth of the matter is, if you told the truth about your mom and dad's relationship, there's a reason why it didn't work out. So your dad wasn't Mr. Perfect. If you told the truth about your grandparents' relationships and things like that, that ain't really what I'm looking for in this stage, in this life. But there are certain attributes and certain things that you take away. My grandmothers had a huge impact in my raising, and there are certain things that say, listen, you need to be cooking for your husband. You need to be, there's certain things that you take away. Do I want either one of their marriages? No, thank you. I'm not. So that's my point. Get the morals, get the foundations, take what you're supposed to take. But don't put the demand on him to basically be your father, especially when, and be clear, you're talking about him buying you a house. You literally, just like you just said, you literally just shown me that you're getting out of me kissing your forehead. You want me to give you a house? So then if I give you a house, all of a sudden now you're going to be ready for
a family?
It's not looking good, Kirsten. That's not looking good. And then when he decided to call you out on it, because Shaq, I said, first of all,
he got a little nasty there. I ain't gonna lie. I said,
he did not. Let me tell you why I didn't think he got nasty. Because see, that's what people do. They give you back your own, and people call it nasty. But what he did was he gave her back her own words. Because she was like, I was just playing. He was like, well, didn't you tell me it's not always the time to play? And not the cameras rolling back.
Yes. And then they rolled the tape. And I 100% agree with what he said.
I said, baby, and I said,
nasty in that point.
And I said,
excuse me.
The reason why he's saying that is because you were not joking, Kirsten. Exactly. And you are hiding behind that because he's now calling you out on it. And you need to face it head on. If that's how you are, if that's how you feel, tell him the truth so that he can make a decision. Because Shaq made some good points. Number one, because she changed her tune quick. What we could do and what we could. He was like, now it's we. Because earlier when we went and saw that house, it was very much on me. And I was like, God, the cameras were rolling. He is absolutely telling you the truth. It was very much on him. And one of the things that she said in the after show when he told Jasmine, like, yeah, it does bother me that she's not bringing me around her family. She was like, it bothered me that he felt the need to talk to other people outside of our marriage about that when he had not talked to me about that. I said, okay, I don't think that, again, back to the comment, y'all trying to alter the truth here. The reality of it is that the same way, basically what it turns into, two can play this game. The same way that you shouldn't have to tell me because nobody had to tell your dad, I shouldn't have to tell you to bring me into your family. Because nobody had to tell my dad to bring his wife into his family. So that's what it turns into. I kind of wish that she would have been honest and leaned into who she was, if that's who she is. She totally tried to change her tune, and she tried to make it seem like she was gaslighting the mess out of that man. And she tried to make it seem like, oh, he getting ready to start acting crazy because he was calling you out. She was like, Shaq, here you chewing that food. I was like, oh. She chewing that food like, you don't twist it, don't take it too far, don't overthink it. No, you said what you said. And the reality is that there are a lot of women who have that expectation. And if that's your expectation, that's okay. Set the precedence because the right person will come and meet your expectation. But don't put all of that on me. And that's what Shaquille was trying to say. I don't want all of that on me. I'm still paying for my master's. I'm still doing this, that, and the other. A better discussion would have been what she was saying by the end of the episode, but she did not start it that way. But that would have been a better discussion because it felt very much collective. It felt very much together. It felt very much what we're going to accomplish. But what she first portrayed was, Shaq needs to be doing all of this as the man. You need to be taking care of me. You need to be doing this and you need to be doing that. When you have all of those demands, I feel like you need to be choosing according to all of those demands that you have. So you have to go somewhere and find somebody who owns a tech company, find somebody who's done all these things. And it's not because Shaq is not working to get there, he is. But if you're not willing, if you're giving him to the end of the lease to buy you a house, to buy what you stated, to buy you a house, he's not there. And he's trying to tell you about what we could do together. Maybe we could build this and do this together. And she said, I know plenty of marriages, people in marriages where their husband bought them their car, bought them their house, and he was like, "Did you want to marry them?"
He's like, that's good for them.
And I'm
That's
like, girl, everything going on, it does not have to be your marriage. Identify who you're with. Identify that you want to be with this person. Identify that this person aligns with you, where you're going, what you're looking for in the future. Identify the love, the compatibility, the future, the planning, the goals. And then when you do, then you can decide how that's going to look. But trying to just take what you saw and implement that into what you have, that's not always the case. It's what we like to call a case by case.
right.
Your marriage will not be identical to anybody else's because it's for you and Shaq.
Yep.
Anybody's marriage, it's for you and that person. And what may not work in somebody else's marriage, that's not my business because that's not my marriage. But what works for me in my marriage, that's what works for me and my husband. If there's a couple that's married and the husband pays the mortgage and the wife takes care of the electric bill and the water bill, that's what works for them. And they're fine and they're happy and they're thriving and they're moving towards goals, that works for them. You don't need somebody coming in talking about, oh, he don't, I don't pay for nothing. You paying for the electric? Y'all don't pay for nothing. That's your marriage.
Right.
Stop trying to project. And then she gaslighted him, and I did not like that. She gaslighted him at the end and tried to make it seem like that he was crazy, he was overthinking, and that's not what she meant. And then she tried to hide behind, I was joking. Let me tell people that's joking something, that's always talking about they joking. Stop saying you joking when it didn't come off as a joke. And if you are a dry humor person, try to figure out to make sure that it is coming across as a joke. Because it can't be everybody else got that you was serious, but you was joking. That's just how I joke. Make sure that we understand that then. Because we didn't get the joke. And honestly, I think that people say that sometimes to hide behind the truth if they feel like it's becoming confrontational. What Kirsten did.
100%. I mean, honestly, if it was a joke thing, it wouldn't even took that moment of him actually bringing it up again to you. You would have already had the conversation.
Exactly. And
Right.
Shaq's family too.
I would have
Because
said,
Shaq could do this. He gonna plan this. He do this. Shaq always took care of it. All right, y'all.
I mean, that's to be expected. I don't expect, if I'm on a show and I'm bringing my family on for y'all to just rag me out on national television. Like, I don't expect that. So
I'm Nicole's father. I'm bringing balance.
My father would never.
No, you wouldn't, because the reality is that your father would be just as missing as Kirsten's.
Whatever. But I'll tell you
Shout
what.
out to Frank.
But I'll tell you what. You said something that is important, that every father-daughter relationship sets the precedence. When you have a true father-daughter relationship, I don't want to marry my father. God bless my mother that she married him. Shout out to her for marrying him. I don't want to marry my father.
No.
I don't want anybody like him. I don't want anybody like him. He definitely has attributes of a father that I definitely want. But
he's an amazing father.
He's an amazing father to both of us. And no matter where we are, what we're doing, he's gonna always find his way to us to make sure that we're okay. He gonna fuss us out. Yeah. He gonna fuss at us, but he gonna
baby, is he gonna fuss?
He gonna fuss
at them 60s.
But
the man ain't even that old. Fussing like a pure 92-year-old.
He's not old at all. But that's our father. Love him. Love him dearly. And like, he is the best father that I could, ask for. But I am my father's daughter. And so no, I don't need to marry nobody like me.
No.
But with that being said, it is important that if that is what you were looking for, that should have been a conversation in the beginning, of your expectations. And it's fine if you want a house, you want your husband to buy a house. You just need to make sure you get with somebody who's in a position to get what you want, or to be talking in that manner. And you can't get mad if they're not.
Because I don't want you to settle for what it is that you think that you want. Don't settle if that's what you want, sis. Wait for what you want. Go to God about what you want and get what you want. But don't put that expectation on someone who never agreed to that. And that was the reason, that was the LaCroix. That was the reason why he wanted to have that conversation. Because his thing was, we never talked about this in the sense of this was something that you expect is going to be all on me because that's how your father was. Again, your father's foundational. Fathers are important in the lives of their children. Mm-hmm. It's foundational, but you can't go and be like, well, you're not my daddy. And well, then you marry your dad.
No, stop saying that.
Well, I'm saying like that's
how you have to understand.
That you have to understand that's how that sounds. But your foundation, right? So like my dad is gonna work. He's a hard worker. He's a hard worker. He done got older, y'all. He done got older. For my duration of my life, though, my dad worked 2 jobs to hold it down and take care of his family. So while I'm not looking to marry my dad, I do have a precedent that, I would like for my man. I don't want no man on the couch. So I can state that. You understand what I'm saying? Without being like, you got to be my dad and you got to be working. No, but like, based off of me being in the house with a hard working man growing up, yes, I'm going to go ahead and set that expectation up front. I don't do the whole, sitting on the couch thing. I'm not really interested in, house husbands and all of that and stay at home dads. A lot of people, it works for a ton of people. It's not my cup of tea. That's just got too much sugar in it. Just give me 2 Splenda. That's not for me. That's all. Yeah. Totally. So what I'm saying is like, those are the things that you're going to get to determine what you're looking for. But her expectation on him was a lot. Felt like a lot. I think it felt like a lot to him. And I think that, to me, Shaq really did a good job of confronting it. But he did an even better job when she tried to weasel her way out of it. And he was like, didn't you say that we don't need to be joking like that?
And he said, well, he's like, yeah, you might not want to talk about it, but I want to talk about it. We're going to talk about it right now. We're not going to wait. I'm not doing this tonight. No, we're doing this tonight. We're doing this tonight.
That was the petty coming out of the chat. He was like, oh, what, you don't want to talk about it? She was like, no, I don't. He was like, okay, I want to talk about it.
He sure did. I was like, oh.
I said, boy, Shaq can be petty.
But I don't blame him. So I don't think they're gonna make it.
Not stuttering, huh?
I don't think they're gonna make it. So it's
oh no, you don't think they're gonna make it? Oh, you have been saying that.
No, I've been saying it. She wants something from him that he's just I don't know. I see him just not me stuttering, but yeah, still.
You're saying that she wants something from him that is not really what he's that's not really what he's looking for.
Like working
in his marriage.
Right. Like, it's one thing to, like I said before, for us to be growing together. It's another thing when you're looking for somebody to be in a certain position and place to be able to provide and do all of those things for you. Like he's not that person from what we can tell and how he reacted. But I was saying. So yeah, I don't think they're going to be together. Like, you got to find somebody that's on. I feel like we are starting to see the real her, and the real her is I'm out here making my own money. I'm doing my own thing, and I want somebody to take care of me. She also mentioned something about a push gift, and I said, I don't think Shaq's ready for all that. She was like, and that's when she was talking about the couples and.
Because he said like we don't. The kids could be coming 3-4 years down the road.
Right.
And it made like, when I saw that they were 31 and 32, I was like, yeah, they definitely have time.
Right.
No need to rush those things.
No, but she seems like she would want to have a child like after a year and chilling and relaxing and being taken care of. He
was all like, oh yeah, I could hear the kids running through the house, and little did he know, she was like, yeah, like tomorrow.
Shut up.
I was like, careful what you wish for, because you just might get.
So I think, so she gets out of her way. If she got out of her way, maybe they could.
Do you think they're gonna make it?
No.
Do you think there's any hope for them to make it?
No.
Do you think Karen and Miles are still together from a few seasons back?
No.
Do you think Miles is okay?
No.
Because, like, even Woody don't post about him, and they were, like, good friends.
He's around.
Who, Miles?
Yeah, like they went to something that had like something in New Orleans, and he was in the mix of them, but he wasn't.
Miles was?
Mm-hmm, he was there.
In that video that Woody posted? Because I didn't see him.
I don't know if it was Woody or Amani.
Okay.
But
so
one
Miles,
of the he was, like he wasn't in the video per se, but you could see like, oh, there goes
no, he
Miles,
was like,
whatever.
okay.
Yeah, part of the thing. And I think once he put out about something about people being in their business or not needing to know what they're doing, we already know y'all not together. You don't post, you don't say nothing about each other. Neither one of y'all.
Wait, when did he say this?
Maybe a few months back. Maybe I feel like in the beginning of the year, he might have said something like to that nature, put in a post up or something like that. I don't follow him or her anymore, so I'm not sure.
Why don't you follow them anymore?
Because it was giving y'all not together and y'all trying to play. So I just helped them out. Am I wrong?
Okay. I mean,
your perception on Kristen
like,
and Shaquille.
I already gave it.
Did you say they was gonna be together? You think they're gonna be together? I didn't remember you saying that.
Yeah, I think that they're gonna be together. I've always thought they were gonna be together because I've always had a glimpse of them. And these type of conversations and things that they're going through are just bumps in the road. But I think that they're gonna be together. I think that they can make it. The only issue I have is I don't know if they're gonna make it long term. I think it is extremely interesting that the therapist asked next week, does she find him masculine?
Is that what she said?
Yes. First of all, where did that question come from? Second, third, fourth, fifth of all, great question. Then
I don't think that's a great question. I want to know where did that come from, to be honest with you.
I want to know where it came from, but it is a great question because the reason being is because sometimes
she might be trying to point him. Yeah, go ahead.
Because sometimes there is a level of like respect or a level of boundary that a woman crosses is if she feels like he's not. I don't know, not all women, but it's just like some like that. If where you don't feel like either he don't know what he's talking about, he don't know this, he don't know that, because you're kind of looking at him that way. And sometimes that can come out in a different way if you don't have that particular respect for your husband. Yeah. I think that's why she asked him that, but I think that that's very interesting. And I think it's a good question because it would explain a lot too.
Right.
Because Kirsten's very hot and cold.
Yeah. Yeah, she is.
With Shaquille.
So I was like, yeah, what is she getting that question?
After this episode, I decided that I like Shaquille. He's funny. When he was getting with her, I was cracking up.
It was like, stop chewing. I'm like, well, we gotta have this conversation after I'm finished eating. Because one thing I'm gonna do is
turn the cameras off and eat. I get it. You are clearly a starving child in America. Just
oh my God. You have to exaggerate. Y'all act like y'all ain't never ate before and enjoyed your food.
Just turn the cameras off and enjoy. Or like I tell you, okay, I'm gonna go so you can enjoy your food. I
don't care.
I want you to enjoy your food.
And I want to enjoy it, so I'll let you go.
So we'll talk later.
Oh my Kirsten, I can't be hindered right now. Not what in the middle of me trying to eat, that you're trying to hinder me. I didn't mean it. I didn't say it. That's what it sounds like. Because at this point, the thing that was important to her right then and there was that food.
I'm trying to eat. I didn't mean it. I didn't say it. Shaquille and Kirsten will make it. The only thing that I am concerned about is I don't know if it would be something long term. I would have to see a little bit of kind of like some adjustments, and maybe it just comes with more of getting to know each other and adapting to each other. But for me, the hope is still there for them. I'm rooting for you. We were rooting for you. Where's that from?
Who said that?
Black card revoked. Tyra Banks when she yelled at Tiffany.
Girl, I quote movies and TV shows.
That's it. We were rooting for you. Was her name Tiffany? Tiffany? I don't even know what her name was.
I don't even remember that show.
It was so dramatic. that it stands out.
It
So I'm interested in next week. There's just some things that, that they discuss. I've also decided that Married at First Sight, again, with their editing and their, their watch bait, I won't call it clickbait, I'll say their watch bait, where they try to keep baiting you in to watch. I know that they have advertised that they are going to be following the couples beyond decision day. And I think that Clint and Gina are going to say no. I think that they're just going to remain friends. And I think that's why we see him kissing McKinley.
Right.
I think that that is something that's going to be after the fact, following them after the fact.
Just like after the fact, McKinley going to talk about he was in the DMs.
Yeah. So they make it seem like it's coming up within the season. And I'm like, now the more that I'm seeing it, I'm like, because they keep going week after week, and I'm like, well,
yeah, like they seem to be going strong, like strong, hanging on in there. So,
and then they talking about only 3 weeks left. So I'm like, so when is like, you know what? I bet you that's like be after decision day. What, where are they now?
Yeah.
They're gonna all be hanging out, and Clint gonna be flirting with everybody because, like you said, Clint doesn't seem to have had a hard time gaining friends.
He don't. He seems like he's a life of the party.
He's cool. He seems cool to me.
Very cool. He's, and again, to be been surrounded by a bunch of women all the time. Like, anybody know, dude, that somebody, you got a man now. Somebody, none of your friends got men?
Who?
Gina and Clint.
Gina's?
Yeah. Like,
no, they said they didn't.
Outside of hanging with the couples a part of the show, like what other couples
I see what
can you bring into the process? Saying like, these are my friends, so and so, and her husband. Like none of that even goes on. It's always her and a bunch of, and then these salon people, her employees, which are her friends. So, oh wait,
slipped out
with the struggle yawn.
It's because I was like, no.
Well, that wraps up this episode.
You never tried to hold a yawn in and it comes out through your eyes, because now my eyes is tearing up. You never held a yawn in? That's what happens. You gotta reverse breathe.
Shut up. So anyway, that wraps up our review.
That wraps it up.
Married at First Sight. Listen, need you guys to go ahead. Didn't say this in the beginning, but if you're watching this video all the way to the end, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button, or give us a thumbs up if you already subscribed to the channel. Just keep liking the video so we can kind of get our views up, and get out there even more. Follow us individually on Instagram. I am at Nicky81, and you will see the handle I'll add in here. And Jackie,
Living Learning Lifestyle on Instagram and TikTok.
And
YouTube.
And on YouTube, she's on YouTube as well. So in addition to this channel, she has her own channel, Living Learning Lifestyle, where she provides fashion tips. With that being said, we want to thank you guys for tuning in yet again to hear us.
Thank you.
And we look forward to seeing you next time. Bye.
Subscribe. Bye.